Hey guys, it's Luke Yon, and today I am going to be starting a reading vlog for This Woven Kingdom by Tahereh Mafi. So, I have actually already read This Woven Kingdom. I read it back in September. I got an e-arc of it, and like with all of Tahereh's books, I really wanted to reread it. But I also wanted to wait for the physical copy to come out for like the actual release date because, again, I had an e-arc, I didn't actually have like the physical book. And so, in preparation for this reading vlog slash review and like rereading experience, I actually bought 2 copies of the book. So here is this one. This is from Barnes & Noble, and it's just like the standard US edition, and technically this was kind of like free because I bought it with the store credit from something else that I returned. So I don't feel too bad about buying 2 copies of this book. I really don't like buying books anymore, and I don't especially like buying copies of, like, more than 1 copy of a single book. But I felt like, for Tahereh Mafi, I'm gonna do it. So, anyway, there's this one, and then I also got an Illumicrate box, which I'm gonna show off the items in a second. But yeah, I'm really excited to start reading this. It came out on Tuesday. It's currently Friday. The reason I'm filming this later than the actual release date is because, one, the 2 copies that I pre-ordered only arrived yesterday, and I didn't want to start filming yesterday because I was reading a different book, and also it was dark and gloomy and stuff. It's still kind of dark and gloomy, but I don't have school today because of like the icy roads and stuff, so I thought it would just be better to film it today. And I finished that other book, so I'm actually going to start rereading This Woven Kingdom today. So yeah, also this is going to be a completely spoiler-filled vlog. However, you can stay until like I finish opening the Illumicrate box and showing the items. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do now. Also, I have chapters in the description box in case you like don't care about the stuff that was in the Illumicrate. But yeah, so I have, as I said, this Barnes & Noble, just regular US edition of This Woven Kingdom, and then I also got the Illumicrate box in the mail yesterday, at the same time that I actually got that Barnes & Noble one. So, the Illumicrate box was very hefty. It was like $27, because Illumicrate is a British company, so they're based in England, and the box just regularly costed, what am I saying? It cost 27 euros, plus the 17 euro flat rate getting it from England to America, because I live in New York, not England. So that was a lot of money. It was like 47 US dollars or something. So I think that's probably the most I've ever spent on a single book. Well, actually it's not a single book because there's items and there's also another book in the box. But yeah, anyway, I am a little bit salty though because my stuff didn't come in that like pretty yellow Illumicrate box. It just came in like a regular cardboard box. And I did already like open the box and like take all the things out because I didn't want to keep that box in my room because it was like outside and everything. So I didn't want to like bring stuff from outside inside. Anyway, so I already took all the stuff out and I do know what's in it already because, well, one, I was spoiled for it on Instagram anyway, so I already knew what was in it. But I also, again, just wanted to take it out, and I also showed all the stuff to my mom yesterday, so I do know what's in it, but I did still want to show it off. So I'm going to start with the items and then go into the 2 books because I don't feel that bad about spending that much money on the box because when I saw what the like special Illumicrate edition of This Woven Kingdom was like, I was instantly smitten and I knew I wanted to buy it. So I don't feel too bad about spending all this money, but yeah. I'm going to show off the items and then probably the most beautiful book that I ever own. So first there was this, also this is in no particular order, there's this, which is like a phone holder, and to be honest, I'm probably not going to use this. I'm probably going to end up gifting it because every time like I get something in a bookish box that's like jewelry or something that I don't want to use, I will just like keep it and then gift it to like family and friends that I think will enjoy it. So you know, I basically, like, I mean, I did technically spend the money anyway. Okay, this is not important. But it's this, it's like a phone holder, and it says you're a survivor, and you kind of just, like, put it in, and then you can, like, put your phone here or something. I'm never going to use this, but I am going to gift it to friends or family, depending on who I think will enjoy this the most. Oh, actually, I'm so bad at this. I have not done an unboxing in forever, so this is kind of a mess. But there is this, so the Royal Secrets, this is the theme of January, and it says, like, all the stuff that's in it. But this is, like, the spoiler card, I guess. Then the next item are these, like, fuzzy socks, and these are inspired... Oh, by the way, that phone holder was inspired by the Prison Healer or something. I don't actually know what it's called. But these socks are inspired by the Priory of the Orange Tree, which I have read. And I don't really know what this is. I think it's a tree with like a dragon sleeping underneath it. Not 100% sure. To be honest, the illustration on these is not A+ quality, but they're socks. I mean, no one like looks at your feet anyway, so like it doesn't really matter that they're not like a super special design. But they do look very fuzzy and like soft, so since it's winter, I might end up wearing these soon. But yeah, I haven't actually taken the plastic off to like see how soft they are, but these are cool and I guess useful. Then we have another thing that I will be regifting. It is this necklace, and I was actually showing all this stuff to my mom yesterday, and she said that my grandmother would actually really enjoy this, so I'm probably going to end up giving this to her at some point or another, but it's actually kind of a cool necklace. It's like this, so it's inspired by the Never Tilting World, which I have not read, but anyway, there's this, so it's like night, and then you, like the inside thing like swirls around, so then there's day. This is like not doing a good job of showing it, but like see, it like swirls. Anyway, so yeah, and then there's a quote on it. It says, "Night and day rule from their two thrones." I don't know if that's a quote from the book or just something that Illumicrate printed, but it's still a pretty cool necklace, and I do like the design, even though obviously I wouldn't wear it, but it'll be a cool gift for whoever I end up giving it to. Then we have another thing that I actually will definitely use, and it is this jigsaw puzzle that's inspired by We Hunt the Flame. I actually just finished the We Hunt the Flame series, so this is coming in perfect time. But I think this is the design, and then it's also like on here. So this is like the full thing. But yeah, this is actually really pretty, and I don't know if this is supposed to look like the Djalarat, which is like the book that's in We Hunt the Flame, so like the book that is like a part of the story. But that would be really cool, so yeah. This is cool, and it does like kind of look like it could be a book, so this is definitely nice, and I will definitely be using this. Then we have the first book of the month, so it does come in this really cool like book sleeve case, so I do really like that. And then there's also a note from the author, but this is a book that I actually am really, really excited to read, and it is The Ivory Key by Akshaya Raman. So I actually attended Tata Mafi's second event for this Woven Kingdom, which was moderated by Akshaya Raman, and she was talking a little bit about her book, and it made me even more excited for it because I had heard some things and I saw it in Barnes & Noble, and I was about to pick it up, but then I saw like what the clue was for like the second book in the Illumicrate box, and I was like, okay, it's definitely going to be The Ivory Key. So I'm glad that I held off buying that because this is a really pretty edition. I think it's a lot nicer than the regular UK edition, but yeah, it has this like cool design on the front. It's like the two sisters and then the two brothers, and then it also has like blue stained edges, which is really nice. And then inside there's like a little thing from the author, but all I really know about this book is that it follows four siblings who go on a quest to like uncover this key that can like bring magic back to their kingdom. That's all I need to know, and also it's inspired by like Indian mythology, I think, so that's really all I need to know. I love sibling stories, I love quests and like magic quests, and I really love all types of mythology, so this is really interesting to me, and I think it's going to be a really fun read. So I'm really happy that this was the second book because it's one that I'm actually really, really interested in. And then before we get to the final item, my most anticipated item, we actually have this, which is a really beautiful art print that is inspired by a scene from This Woven Kingdom, and since I've already read it, I do know what the scene is, or at least I think I do. So yeah, I really, really like the illustration of this, like the illustration style. It's just very like clean and nice, and it's not too busy, and I really like the colors, so there's that. And then on the back there is a note from Tahereh Mafi. And then the most exciting part of this box for me is the actual book, which is, again, possibly the most beautiful book that I own. It is the Illumicrate edition of This Woven Kingdom by Tahereh Mafi. When I saw this, like, I literally was, like, flabbergasted. Like, I could not speak. It was just so beautiful. So this is, like, I'm really glad it's not canvas bound, because I honestly don't really like canvas bound books. It's, like, this soft kind of texture. And then there's this foil that's a little bit, like, embossed so you can feel it, and then it has these two fireflies, which are, like, a really important thing in the story. And then you turn it around, and there's, like, again, another firefly there, and then on the back there's, like, more of this really beautiful design. But the most amazing thing about this is this stencil design that is on the side. Again, you have, like, more of the design, and then you have the firefly in the center with, like, some stars surrounding it, and then there's just, like, the regular kind of, like, black, really dark blue, black, edges. But that is not all, because the end papers are also so beautiful. They're, like, this really great orange with, again, the design, and then the fireflies in the center, and then the book is also signed by Tahereh Mafi. So this is, like, honestly going to become one of my most prized possessions. I don't know how I'm going to display it on my bookshelf. I don't know if I'm going to, like, find a way to face it out, or I'm probably going to end up putting it like this, because if I put it like this on my bookshelf and it's, like, on the end, then you'll be able to see it, because my Tahereh Mafi shelf is now, like, on the top of my bookshelf, so you'll be able to see, like, the stuff on the back as well. So I'm probably going to end up putting it out like this, because I just think this is so beautiful. It's, like, a really nice stencil design, and yeah, this book is just really, really high quality, and I am so excited to own this. And I'm also really happy that I do have a regular edition of This Woven Kingdom, because I don't really want to read this and mess with it, because it's just such a beautiful edition, and yeah, I just absolutely love it, and I think, again, it's probably the most beautiful book that I own. And again, like, don't get me wrong, I do think that the regular US edition is very pretty, but, like, I think we can all objectively agree that that Illumicrate Special Edition is, like, way nicer than this one. I do really like this cover, though. I like the Persian helmet, and the roses, which are kind of, like, a symbol of the story. And then, you know, this, like, the title treatment, it kind of looks like it's, like, woven, and the title is a bit embossed as well. Although I will say I really don't like glossy book jackets. I don't know why, they just kind of annoy me. And also, it, like, you can see, like, the reflection. Anyway, I do think that this is really nice, though, and then underneath there's this, like, really nice scarlet, like, hardback, and then there is a nice design on the spine as well, and then, of course, the inside is the same as, like, the Illumicrate edition. You have, like, the really pretty border designs, and then before each, well, there's also this, which is the epigraph from the Shahnameh, and then you also have this before each chapter, so it's, like, the chapter number, and then below the, like, number in Farsi. So yeah, I'm really excited to get to my reread of this book. I'm definitely going to be reading this edition, because that Illumicrate edition is just too pretty to mess with, but yeah, I'm really excited to start reading this. It's about, like, 10 o'clock right now, so I'm probably going to start it very, very soon. And yeah, I will let you know once I have a reading update. So I think it is about noon. I had a call with my college advisor, and I'm about to go eat lunch, but I do have a reading update. Sorry, I moved the camera a little bit because it was at a weird angle. But anyway, I am about 150 pages into This Woven Kingdom, and what can I say? I'm really enjoying it. I'm really enjoying it a lot more the second time around. I think just having the physical copy makes it a much more fun and immersive experience, and I feel like with all Tahereh Mafi's books, I have enjoyed them more the second time around, or, like, upon reread. So I'm really having a fun time. I love the writing. Like, I know a lot of people have said that this book is, like, too wordy or dense, but I don't really agree. I think while it is a little bit, like, robust and heavy, I guess, like, I don't feel like the book is, like, dense or anything. Like, I think it's a good, like, I really like all the descriptions, and I really enjoy all of that sort of stuff, and the language is just, like, the language in this book is the kind that I like to read. That was not articulately stated, but I really like the writing style and the prose in this book, so that's one of my favorite parts of the story. And again, I just instantly fell back in love with Alize and Kamran. And yeah, so far what has happened, I mean, not a ton has happened. Really, there's not much plot in this book until like the last couple of chapters with that whole ball scene and everything. But basically what has happened so far, we got reintroduced to the characters. I forgot how early on in the story Alize and Kamran actually like interact. Like, it's only chapter 4 or 5 when Kamran like sees Alize with like Ahmed, and how like Ahmed basically like kills himself, but then he's alive still. So that happened. We met King Zal and Kamran's mother. I forgot that Kamran had a mother that was like in this book. Firuze, I believe is her name, and she's like an interesting character. I really like King Zal, and I really like the story that was like explained and how he was like put on that mountaintop with that bird. And this book again is making me really want to read the Shahnameh and to just kind of see the similarities. I do own the Shahnameh and I really want to get to it. Maybe I can read like a couple stories every night until I finish it, because I really want to see the connections between that and this story, because I love all the Persian mythology that is incorporated into the story and all of that sort of stuff. So yeah, we had that. We had like stuff when we had this scene where Alize goes to Dean, to the apothecary, to like get bandaged up and everything, and then she has those parcels, and then she runs into Kamran again when he's with Hazan. And I feel the same way about Hazan as I did with the first time that I read this book. Like, I just don't really feel anything for him. I think he's kind of, honestly, a little bit of a boring character. But, you know, I guess that's kind of his role. He's just supposed to be, like, good with a capital G, I guess. But I really like the morally gray aspects of both Alize and Kamran, specifically Kamran. So that's something that I'm really enjoying in this story. And also, I love all the stuff with, like, the devil and that in the beginning chapter. I find that so fascinating. And that poem just, like, gets me every time. Like, I just think it's so, like, packs a punch, and I really, really loved that. And I just cannot stop thinking about, like, every time King Zal is mentioned, I just can't stop thinking about the ending of this book, and how, like, that whole thing wraps into, like, the story of the devil and Iblis and stuff like that. So, I'm really, really enjoying that, and yeah, I mean, so far, again, not a ton of stuff has happened, but I love the atmosphere, I really like the characters, and again, Tata Mafi's writing, this is like probably the best writing that she has had thus far, and I think that her writing style really, really works with like fantasy books like this. So I'm really excited to get further into the story. I'm gonna try to at least get halfway through the book today. I'm sure I can do that, because again, it's only noon and I'm already 150 pages in, and I'm just like breezing through the book. It's so good, it's so addicting, and I'm really excited to get to some of the other scenes. I think the first time I read this, I read it a bit slower, so I feel like a lot of the scenes are happening, and I'm like, oh wait, I thought that happened later. But I guess though that, like, since I'm reading this book at like a quicker pace, I am definitely enjoying it a little bit more. So yeah, I'm really excited to get further into the book, and I'm just thinking about some scenes that I cannot wait to get to. And yeah, I just really like also the romance that's building. Taha Mafi is like a master at romance, and I think it's especially good in this book because I love the slow burn and just Kamran and Alize's interactions. Oh, also, I remember what scene this is from. This is from that scene when, I'm pretty sure it's with that scene, like when they first see each other, or it, honestly, I don't know. It's either that scene or the scene that just happened when she's like fleeing from the apothecary, but I don't think it is because neither of them are carrying any parcels. So I'm pretty sure this is the first scene they see each other after she, when she like kind of, I guess, apprehends Ahmed or something, or like she kind of defeats him, and I'm pretty sure that this is that scene. I don't know, but yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I'm going to go eat lunch right now, and I will update you once I've gotten farther into the book, because again, there's just so many things that I can't wait to get to into this story, and I'm really excited to talk about them. So I will see you later. So it's a bit later, I'm actually not sure what time it is, but I had lunch and I read about 100 more pages of This Woven Kingdom, and I'm enjoying it even more now. I like love how all of these different things are kind of like coming together and all these different threads are being woven throughout. And just like knowing what happens later, it's really fun to like reread the like stuff that comes before because you know what's gonna happen. So I just always love rereading books, and I don't really understand how some people don't like rereading books because I feel like you just get so much more the second or third or however many times you read the story. But so far, some of the stuff that happened since we last spoke. Ahmed basically came to Baz's house and invited Alize to the ball that is happening at the royal palace. And, like, I totally forgot that that happened, and then I just thought about, like, the ball scene that happens at the end of this book, and it just gets me so much more, like, amped up for what's gonna happen. So yeah, I loved seeing that. And then, also, it was so cool, like, I totally forgot about the scene where Kamran is in Surati Forest. Like, that whole scene was just so interesting and so, like, aesthetically pleasing, like, with the pink trees and everything, and how he had, like, the rug on the snowy floor. It was just so, like, sensory, and you could just completely picture everything that happened, and I loved that. And then we had the whole scene where Kamran was talking to I guess it was like some of his grandfather's soldiers, and then Hazan had to kind of like reprimand him. And then where we left off with Kamran, there was like a knock at his door, and then, you know, Alize, she was invited by Ahmed to the ball, and then she went to Miss Huda, who lives, or Huda, who lives at Fallid Place, and she made her a dress for the ball, and she just encountered a bunch of assailants who she had to, like, take down, and then we just ended up with her, like, someone came up to her and bowed to her and was like, "Your Majesty." I actually don't remember who that is, like, I can't remember if that's Ahmed or Kamran, or maybe if it's Hazan. But yeah, I just am enjoying the book so much more, and I just absolutely love the slow progression of the plot. Like, there are definitely things happening, but I just love how slow burning it is, and it's kind of just like, it gets quicker and quicker and quicker until, like, you get to the end when it's just like everything kind of explodes. But yeah, I'm really, really enjoying that, and again, I just love all of the imagery so much, like all the snow stuff, and again, that forest was so cool, and even like King Zal's rooms, which is like, it's covered in mirrors, and even his throne is made of mirrors, and the floor are mirrors. Like, I just thought that was so, so cool. So yeah, I'm really, really enjoying the book still. I have to, like, keep myself from reading it too fast, because I could easily just read this entire book today. But right now, I think I'm probably gonna end up, like, revising maybe, like, a chapter of my own book, and then maybe I'll get to read a little bit more of this. It's probably only about 2 o'clock, so yeah, I'm gonna be reading this, and then tomorrow I do have a practice ACT exam, so I'm gonna be taking that from 8:30 to, like, probably around 11:30, and then I don't know what I'm gonna do after that. Tahamafi is having an event for this Woven Kingdom at, I think, 2 o'clock, with Ransom Riggs, so I'm really excited for that. I have a ticket for that, so I'm going to be watching that. And then, I don't know what I'm going to be doing tomorrow, but we shall see. So, yeah, I'm really, really enjoying the book. I am just in such a good mood, and I will probably watch some TV now, or revise. Actually, I'm probably going to revise. And then, read a little bit more of This Woven Kingdom. So it is the next day. It's like probably around 11:45, and I just took my practice ACT exam. But yesterday I did read about 50 more pages of This Woven Kingdom after I last updated you, so I'm now like about 300 pages in, and I just want to like recap the stuff that happened since I last updated. So basically we found out that the person that was like knocking on Kamran's door were like these assailants that his grandfather sent for him because he thought that Kamran had helped Alize after she defeated those like 6 men that were attacking her, who were sent by King Zal. So basically, King Zal thought that Kamran was like in cohorts with Alize and had like helped her and given her a tip and told her like, these men are coming after you, or had even been there like while they came after her, so he like helps them fight them. That's at least what King Zal thinks. And Kamran basically like convinced him that that's not true. We found out that the person who like was bowing to Alize and was like, "Your Majesty," it was Hazan. I kind of remember that. I actually totally forgot like Hazan and his whole backstory and his like connection to Alize. And then in like the last 2 chapters, Kamran ended up coming to Baz's house because his aunt is like the proprietor of it, Duchess Jamila, and he saw that Mrs. Amina had like was like about to, I can't remember if she actually slapped Alize or if she was about to, and he was like, "You are going against Ardumian law and this is like punishment, and like you could be like severely punished for this." And then Alize was like dragged out of the room, and then Kamran had a conversation with his Aunt Jamila, and then he was like, "Can I go look around Baz's house because it's so beautiful and I just want to like be nostalgic," because he had spent like a lot of his childhood there. And I can't remember, but I think he does go to see Alize. And yeah, oh, also we found out that that firefly was Hazan's and it had been like attracted to Alize. So I can't, to be honest, remember if Hazan is a djinn as well. I think he might be, but I just can't recall from the first time that I read this. But yeah, he's definitely, again, I didn't remember, but like he does get more interesting as the story progresses. He was just in the beginning a little bit boring because he was kind of just like a puppet for King Zal. So that was like my issue with him, but I also forgot how annoying King Zal is. Like he just immediately turned against his grandson for like no reason, and I know it's because like I guess the devil is like possessing him or whatever. I guess now that I actually just thought of that, maybe that's the reason why he's like kind of turned on him. I don't actually know, but that could definitely be a reason for that. But yeah, I have about like 200 pages left because this book is like close to 500 pages, and I'm really excited to get to them. I'm probably gonna eat lunch right now or something, and then read probably about like 100 pages, and then finish the book later today. But I will let you know once I have done that, and I will update you with my thoughts as well. So I'm actually not sure what time it is. It's a little bit later. I actually haven't eaten lunch yet. I'm about to go do that. But before I do want to give you guys a reading update. So I got about 100 more pages into This Woven Kingdom. So I'm now about 400 pages into the book, and I'm loving it so much, loving it even more than before. I was already kind of loving it for like the first 300 pages, but things like took a huge turn and I'm just like so in love. And it's just like there were so many scenes just like in those last 100 pages that I remembered from the first time and I think loved even more the second time around. And then there are even more scenes that are coming up that I just can't wait to get to, that will like kind of, you know, wrap up the story. One thing that I totally forgot from the first time that I read this book was like how short the timeline actually is. This book takes place in like 2 days in total. And I totally forgot about that, but anyway. So basically what happened is Kamran ended up going to Alize's room, and we had their whole like actual first confrontation where they're like interacting and everything. And Alize holds a knife to Kamran's neck, and then he notices that she's like only in her chemise, and then she like gets dressed, and then they talk a little bit, and they like kind of make out a little as well, and she finally tells him her name, and he's kind of like, I love reading Kamran's kind of like inner thoughts, because he's like, why do I feel this way? Like, what is it with this girl that is like making me feel this way? And I really love that. And just reading his inner conflicts is so interesting. And then I love in romance books when you get to see both sides. So you get to see the girl's perspective and the boy's perspective. And I love how this book is doing that as well. And again, Todd Amafi is just so good at writing romance. Like, it's just so like good. And I loved their chapter. And then Kamran basically ends up like going back to the palace or whatever, and he's talking to his grandfather about stuff, and like they're on the drawbridge or whatever, and King Zal is basically like, you need to prepare for war because like the Tulanian king is coming to the ball that's happening later that night, and like he doesn't know if it's going to be like an exact potent for war, or if it's going to be potent for war, but like he can suspect that Tulan is like about to start a war against Ardumia, and that Kamran will basically have to deal with that, and King Zal's like, I hope I prepared you enough. So there's that. Alize went back to the apothecary to see Dean to like had her bandages fixed and to pick up she basically ends up picking up a parcel that was left for her by Hazan, and Dean basically gives it to her, and it's this dress for the ball, and there's a note that Hazan left for her, and then she ends up going to Follett Place again for Miss Huda, and Miss Huda basically like sneaks her into the house, and Alize explains that since she was kicked out of Baz's house, she can no longer like finish the dress that Miss Huda ordered, but Miss Huda's like, you're gonna stay here in this room, and you're going to wait until we all leave for the ball for the Royal Palace, and then you're going to, well, first you're going to give me my dress, then everyone here, because there are a bunch of ambassadors at Follett Place right now, they're all going to leave for the ball, and then Alize can finally leave, but she knows that even like with her djinn abilities and her speed, she will probably end up getting to the ball like really, really late. And she doesn't want that to happen, so we have that whole thing, and then basically Alize ends up taking off her Snowda, and Miss Huda is like, oh girl, okay, it's you. Like, she finally realized who Alize was, and I really love that. And I totally forgot that Alize had told Kamran that she was like the Queen of Aria, which is like the Djinn Kingdom. So that was really cool. But yeah, I'm just absolutely loving this story, and I loved the scene when Alize is walking through through Sitar, and she sees like all the people there for the Windrose Festival, and like the kids are eating like the pomegranate ice cream sandwiches. Like, that made me so hungry and just like wanting that ice cream sandwich. So yeah, I just love how vivid this book is. It's so sensory and sumptuous, and yeah, I just absolutely love that. Taha's writing just like blows me out of the water every single time, and I'm so happy that I decided to reread this book just because I'm loving it even more than the second time around. Like, I put this at number 10 for my 10 favorite books of 2021 last year, but I would honestly move it up to like at least the top 5 because it's just so much better than the first time I read it. I knew that because like the first time I read it, it wasn't like the physical book, and it just wasn't the same experience. And I do read a lot of ebooks, but I feel like especially with Taha Mafi books, I just need to have them in my hand so I can like have the whole experience. And yeah, I'm just really, really loving it. And although I did notice something, so basically there is in chapter 31, there is a scene, or in the beginning, Taha Mafi is like explaining what the royal palace looks like. And it says, the imposing entrance position between treacherously steep cliffs the color of coral, and then it kind of goes down and it says, acres of wild grass and burgeoning juniper, why can I not speak, touch the perpendicular rise of orange rock, and then it kind of goes on. And in the arc that I got, like the e-arc, it said that the cliffs were the color of oxblood, and it said like giving perpendicular rise to red rock. So that was like a kind of change that I noticed. Usually like arcs, from the arc to the finished copy, there's like basically no changes, but that was one that I kind of noticed. But yeah, I'm gonna go eat lunch now and probably finish the book. I really don't want to finish it, but I also like to because I'm just loving the story so much. And yeah, hopefully, maybe I can savor it a little bit more, but I'll probably just end up reading like the last 100 pages in one sitting. So yeah, I'm gonna go eat and then probably finish up This Woman Kingdom, and I will let you know how I feel about the ending and how I can like wrap up my thoughts on the book. And then yeah, so anyway, I'm gonna see you later. I just am like talking to talk right now, so goodbye. So it is probably around like 3 o'clock, 3:15, 3:30, sometime around then, and I just finished This Woven Kingdom by Taha Mafi, and I loved it so much. When I first read the book, I originally gave it like 4.5 stars, and then I raised it to 5, but this is like, without a doubt, definitely a 5-star now upon reread. I just loved it so much. So much about this story. Like, there's so much in this story that I just deeply love in books, and it just kind of all was like, came together in this book, and yeah, it's definitely like one of my new favorites. But before I get into like my overall thoughts, I do want to talk about what happened in the last 100 pages of the book. A lot happened. More happened in the last 100 pages of the book than like the first 400. But basically what happened is like Kamran is getting ready for the ball, and he knows that Cyrus is coming and all that stuff is happening. And Ahmed basically comes and he's like, all the diviners are now dead. And then Alize is with Miss Huda, and Miss Huda basically is like, so she didn't actually know that Alize is the, like, queen of the jinn, basically. She knows Alize because, Cyrus basically gave her a parcel to give to Alize, and it says, "You will meet today with a young woman with silver eyes. Kindly deliver the enclosed package into her hands." And so then, basically, stuff happens, and Alize gets the lavender boots, and then she ends up changing into her gown for the ball, and then Cyrus ends up coming. He, like, makes, Miss Huda mute, so he, like, takes away her ability to speak, and then he's like, "Should we kill her?" And Alize is like, "No." And then they end up being transported, into Endless Night, and then Kamran is basically just, like, walking around the ball, and then he sees that Alize has arrived, and he sees his aunt, who tells him that there's, like, a woman waiting to marry him or something. And then he sees Cyrus and all that, and then Alize and Cyrus are kind of, like, walking around, and Alize goes up to Kamran, and they talk and stuff, and basically she finds out that the mutual friend that she and Cyrus had was not Hazan, but it was actually Iblis, the devil. I actually forgot about that part. And I thought Hazan was actually sending her the stuff, but I forgot that it was just Cyrus, and Cyrus, it was, like, technically repaying a debt that he had, that he had for Iblis, so he had to, like, help Alize to fulfill that debt. Then, Kamran and stuff is, like, just chilling, and, you know, all that stuff. I'm kind of, like, just flipping through the book, going, like, chapter by chapter. They hear a scream, and then basically there's, like, this ring of fire, and Cyrus, or, well, actually, Kamran is like, "How do you know the Tulanian king?" to Alize, and then she's, like, realizes all that stuff, that it was Cyrus and all that, and that he's the king of Tulan. And then, Cyrus basically, like, creates this ring of fire in the middle of the ballroom, and accuses King Zal of striking up a deal with the devil, and he rips open his robes at the shoulders, and then these two white leather snakes kind of, like, come up, and it's like, it is supposed to mirror the poem, or the riddle, I guess, that Alize heard in, like, the second chapter or whatever, when Iblis came to visit her. And then, basically, Alize goes into the fire, and she's like, "What are you doing?" And then this dragon just bursts into the palace and sweeps Alize onto its back, and then they go, like, traveling. And she sees that Cyrus can fly, and he is, like, caught up with her, and she's like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "You're gonna come with me to Tulan." Because I forgot to mention that, Iblis, like, part of my debt is to make you queen again, but since you have no land to rule over, you're gonna come to Tulan and you're gonna marry me. And then it ends with her, like, falling off the dragon in shock. So, yeah, I love this book. It's such, like, a slow progression, and it just gets, like, it just gets better and better with, like, each page. It's so good. And I loved that ending. And Taha Mafi said, I attended her event that happened today with Ransom Riggs, and she was saying how book 2 is going to be a lot more action-packed, and how book 1 was kind of just, like, setting the scene. And I'm really excited for that, and to see how, like, the next book will be more action-packed. And she says that we're going to be getting a title and possibly cover reveal very soon, which is super exciting. I've been trying to think of possible, like, titles that would match the, like, the theme of this Woven Kingdom or whatever, like, something that would sound good and, like, match it in a way, and I can't think of anything. So, yeah. If you have any predictions for the title, though, let me know. But, I think that kind of wraps up my thoughts on this Woven Kingdom. Definitely a new favorite book of mine, new favorite series. I love it, and it's just so good, and I'm so happy that I decided to reread it, because I enjoyed it even more the second time around. But that is pretty much it for this video. If you have also, I mean, I'm assuming you've also read this Woven Kingdom, or else you probably wouldn't be at the end of the video, but I would love to know your thoughts on this Woven Kingdom, and if you have any predictions for book 2, definitely let me know. I had a really, really fun time talking about this book. So, that is it for this video. I really hope you guys enjoyed. All my social media links are in the description box below. and I will see you in my next video. Bye!